YouTube. Okay, now we're live.
Okay.
It was being stupid for a moment.
I gotta find the comment.
Okay, posted.
Okay, I see the live. Popping out the comment. Moving it over here. Okay. So many windows! Ah!
I know, oh my god.
It's crazy. Okay. Okay. Success.
Yeah, okay, cool. We're live. And I'm just prepping my off topic.
Okay.
Let's see, links. This is
I found a new author today, or not today, but like a week ago, and I've been reading everything that they wrote. It's so good.
good.
But I'm sad because the last update was like 3 years ago.
Oh my.
Or like, oh my god.
Oh no.
It's one of those people.
Oh no. Why don't they just stay here for us?
Oh yeah. Yeah, their last update was August 2021. Oh, it's terrible. And they only wrote 13 fics. And they're like, alright, that's it.
I just started a new one and that I'm like,
yeah.
I really like so far.
Oh, okay, I'm excited to talk about these.
I know. Okay, I have my, it's great. I have one for my off topic and I also have one for the bottom show as well. Yeah, like,
hey, dope.
I'm so excited. Hold on, I'm gonna pre-fill out my spreadsheet so that
Your form? Okay,
dude, yeah.
Let me pull up the doc notes.
That's
so funny. You're just like on top of it.
I'm so ready. I've just been like,
okay.
I haven't stopped binging. I feel like it just gets more intense.
I wonder. I've been thinking the other day, like, I wonder when I'll get tired of this. But I'm like, I don't think I will. I think this is it until I die.
Right? Yeah.
This is gonna be over for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Like other hobbies. Psh, yeah. Okay.
No, it's not as important as this one.
Oh, Tagiri says I have an echo. Oh no. Oh no. Why would I have an echo? Oh, I know why. I fixed it. Sorry for all the people on the YouTube about my echo. It's because
Is it gone now?
Yeah. It's
okay.
Sometimes I go through this thing where I'll plug in everything and think that it's ready, and then I realize I didn't plug in like the power for my camera, and so I did all the troubleshooting beforehand. Like I took off my camera from OBS, re-added it, changed the cord, all this stuff, only to realize my camera wasn't even plugged into like the outlet. Like
nothing was working.
I'm an idiot. I'm a goddamn idiot.
Nothing was happening.
It was completely my fault for being stupid.
It happened. It's okay.
It's been fixed. I just realized you took a screenshot of my cat.
Yeah, I sent you the photo on Messenger.
Is the cutest thing. Oh, literally. My god.
Yo, okay, so you guys, right before we start recording, I had my headphones in, and I didn't have like the camera up, so I couldn't see Stella's camera, but I heard like breathing noises or some shuffling noises, so I was like, oh, it's Stella. So I'm like talking to her like, oh, what episode are we on? Have you seen this or that? I was just like talking to myself. I look at the camera and it's fucking Stella's cat on the microphone eating her mic, just literally just munching on it. I took a screenshot. Oh my god, I put it in the Patreon or something. It's
so funny. Yeah, I'll post it to the Patreon later. Oh my god, it's so dumb, so cute. What a cutie, dude. She attacked my hair today. I don't know if you saw the video. She was like on right here and she just like tried to eat my hair. It was like so violent.
So every time I take a shower, whenever my hair is wet, my cat Peach will try to eat my hair. Only when it's wet. I don't understand why. I think it's like my shampoo or something like makes her want to eat it, but she's like obsessed.
What a jerk.
Yeah.
Wow, what a jerk. I love it. Fucking cats, man.
Cats are weird.
Yeah. Assholes. Okay. Complete other assholes. Okay. So hello everyone. Welcome back to another week. We are on chapters 8 and 9.
Yes.
What do you guys think of it so far? How do you feel about the book so far? It's fucking funny, isn't it?
It's really good. It's so funny.
Dude, I like really like Scum Villian. Like
I know it's so different from all the other novels. Like it has like a very specific sense of humor. It's very modern sense of humor set in cultivation time. Like you don't see that very often.
Yeah, and I actually really love it when fan fiction writers like play on the humor even more.
Yeah.
And some of the shit they come up with when they write, I'm like, I fucking die laughing. They're so funny.
But it feels like it's canon because like it's so absurd, but the original book is also very absurd, so it just all fits right in. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
This world is just like ripe with opportunities.
There's this one fic I read the other day. I can't tell you which one it was anymore because I completely forgot. Okay. But the scene was everyone was trying to convince Shenqing Cho to do dual cultivation. And like Shen Hua says something. Because like Shenqing Cho's all like, no, it's just, can't do that to my poor lotus and stuff. And then Shen Hua says something, right? And the description was that Shenqing Cho whipped his head around like an unhinged feral owl and stared straight at Shenqing Cho. And it was like exactly the imagination. I was just imagining him going like this. Like with his eyes like super fucking big, so like 360.
It's so good.
It was so funny. So I love it when writers are like that, when they know exactly how to visualize the scene. Good stuff. Okay, let's jump into the chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, we've already been recording. Woo.
Yes. Okay, ready?
Ready.
Welcome to BLHQ. I'm Jenny Belly.
And I'm Stella Chu.
We're two big danmei fans, and this is season 2 of our weekly podcast where we talk about Scum Villain Self-Saving System written by MXTX. We'll be deep diving into each chapter, discussing the story and our overall impressions. Beware, fangirling ahead. And if you enjoy our podcast, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can get unedited recordings and bonus episodes. Or you can follow us for free on Twitter at BLHQ Podcast.
A recap of last week: Shenqing Cho is taken to the Huanghua Palace. Shenqing Cho is taken to the Huanghua Water Palace. Wait, water dungeon?
Oh my God, water dungeon. Dungeon.
Huanghua Palace. Huanghua
Palace water dungeon.
There we go.
It's such a mouthful.
Oh my God. Because in Chinese, that would only be 3 words. Or, sorry, 5 words. Yeah.
There's like a bunch of syllables.
Yeah. A recap of last week: Shenqing Cho is taken to the Huanghua Palace water dungeon, where he is whipped by the little palace mistress. Luo Binghe intervenes to send her away. He offers his coat to Shenqing Cho, but Shenqing Cho doesn't take it, causing Luo Binghe to explode with anger. Later, Gong Yishao helps him escape, and Shenqing Cho goes to Huayue City for his mushroom plan. He gets sucked into Luo Binghe's dream illusion, but breaks free when he sees a memory of Senjo. As he looks for Luo Qingge, Wait, I remember looking up how to properly pronounce his name. It's Liu? It's Liu. It's not Liu. Is it Liu? Is it Liu? No, it's not Liu. It's Liu.
Liu?
Yeah, it's kind of like Liu.
Liu Qingge?
Yeah.
Liu Qingge. Okay.
Liu Qingge. He runs into his disciples fighting with the Huanghua Palace disciples.
Yes. So if you remember, there was like literally a cat fight about to like break out in the middle of this like restaurant where everyone just like ran away.
And also last episode was extremely horny, so if you missed that episode, go listen to it because
that's right. yeah.
Some tasty things
The dream realm stuff, dude.
So much good stuff.
Chapter 8, Death. Shenqing Cho notices that one of the Huanhua Palace disciples is acting really strange. His skin is patches of different colors, and instead of joining the fight, he's wandering through the crowd with his head down, looking like a pickpocket. Meanwhile, Mingfan is horrified that Ning Yingying was struck. She fights back with furious eyes, this time with no mercy. Shenqing Cho rushes into the fight, pretending to chase after a cat while hiding his identity. Ning Yingying stops moving, afraid to hurt an innocent bystander, but the little palace mistress continues to lash out with her whip. As Shenqing Cho moves around, he subtly corrects Ning Yingying's battle forms and manipulates her limbs until eventually she slaps the little palace mistress hard on her face, twice. These slaps are louder and sharper than the one that Ning Yingying received.
What a great way to fight.
Yeah, just moving her arms around like in the shadows.
Everyone is shocked, including Ning Yingying. Mingfang cheers, "Xiao Shimei, nice hit." Ning Yingying replies, "No, that actually wasn't me." Mingfan says encouragingly, "Don't be scared, it's already done. Everyone knows she started it. You were considerate enough not to hurt her, and she responded with a sneak attack. Serves her right." The little palace mistress begins to cry. You dare to hit me? Not even my daddy's ever hit me." Mingfan declares that if Qingjing Peak gets Mingfan declares that if Qingjing Peak disciples get bullied, they will return it twofold. Shen Qingqiu secretly cheers. Good boy, Mingfan. Yes, yes, yes. Grudges must be repaid in just this way. But then the little palace mistress finally notices Shen Qingqiu and says, Hey, who are you exactly?
Shen Qingqiu is like a terrible teacher. He's like a bad role model. Like, if you fuck with me, we're gonna fuck you up twice as bad. Like, yes.
Slap
okay,
back,
fine,
bitches!
Yeah. Also, the idea of him just... Because right now he's in a disguise where it's just like he put dirt on his face and he put on a fake mustache. And he's chasing after the stray cat to make it look like he's just a random bystander. Like, just who happened to be in the battle. But he's like... It's just like a weird... Such a weird excuse to fight into the scene to chase after a random cat.
Yeah.
Shen Qingqiu points to the suspicious disciple and says, Instead, why don't you ask, who exactly is he? Everyone's eyes turns to the person that he points at, and the little palace mistress realizes that she has no idea who he is, even though he's wearing the Huanhua Palace uniform. None of the other disciples recognize him either. Everyone immediately points their sword at him, but Shen Qingqiu warns them to stay back, and then he flicks a leaf forward. The leaf pierces the disciple's robes and reveals red skin underneath. It's actually a sower. His face and arms were painted to be human skin, but now his cover is blown. The sower rushes forward towards a Qingjing Peak disciple, but Shen Qingqiu intercepts and sends it flying through 2 tables, spewing blood everywhere.
Shen Qingqiu orders his disciples to leave, but Ying Ying clutches at him, crying and laughing. Siten, is that you? Siten! Shen Qingqiu is shocked. How did she recognize him? He was bearded, muddy-faced for a disguise. The sower gets up and charges at them. So Shen Qingqiu pushes Ying Ying away and tries to send a blast of fire towards the enemy. Unfortunately, his without a cure poison flares up at that moment, sealing away his chi, so he's unable to create any fire. The sower launches itself at Shen Qingqiu and infects him, and once again, there are red patches growing on his right hand. Not fair. How come he gets infected so fast every time? Finally, Shen Qingqiu is able to summon fire, and with a burst of rage, he burns the sower and kicks him away. It's always his right hand.
It's always the same hand. He's always. I love when earlier he was like, "Curse this hand! It's the same hand that opened this web novel."
That's true.
And now it's got without the poison, without a cure poison, and it gets the sower attack twice, like every single time. Same hand.
That's so funny. Also, the fact that he always gets hurt when he protects somebody else.
That's true. That does happen often. I just realized. Yeah, he's literally just trying to save Ning Ying Ying, and then he gets attacked. But I don't know. He's unconsciously a good person, even though he doesn't believe it. Like he cares.
Mm-hmm.
Ning Ying Ying and Ming Fan tearfully cling to Shen Qingqiu. Shizen! But Shen Qingqiu glares at them for revealing his disguise. He wipes away the stuff on his face until he looks like his normal self. The disciples are all clinging to him and saying how much they've missed him, when suddenly the palace mistress lashes out with her whip. Shen Qingqiu quickly pushes everyone to safety and blocks the attack with the sword. But the palace mistress is furious, and she continues to hack away with her whip. Shen Qingqiu asks bluntly, "Are you mad? Where does all this rage come from every day?" The palace mistress responds, "You wicked villain! Return the lives of my Shishong and Shijie. Just because Ma Shishong said some harsh things to you while you were being imprisoned, he died so horribly, so horribly."
Shen Qingqiu is confused. Who is Ma Shishong? Was it that rude disciple he trapped in the prison? He says that he didn't kill anyone when he escaped. Mingfan replies quietly that many bodies were found, decayed from toxic demonic poison. Demonic poison? Shen Qingqiu thinks that this sounds like Luo Binghe's handiwork. He says that he's never been good with poisons. Why would he choose to use that method to escape? Is there any proof that he killed them? Is there any proof that he killed him? A Huanghua Palace disciple shouts, "Then can you prove you didn't kill him?" Shen Qingqiu realizes that they're talking in circles, so he asks for Gong Yishao to come forward and add his input.
Yeah, this is a very sudden reveal that, like, suddenly the Huanhua Palace disciples, there's some issue that happened and, like, some of them are dead. No one knows who did it. Surprisingly, the little palace mistress begins to weep and she says, "You think that just because he's dead and can't testify, you can use him however you wish?" Shen Qingqiu feels like he's been struck by lightning. "What did you say? Gong Yishao's dead?" When did this happen? Who did it? In the original work, Gong Yishao was banished, not killed. The little palace mistress is furious. Who did it? You still have the face to ask who did it? The Huanhua palace disciples surround Shen Qingqiu to kill him as revenge, but Shen Qingqiu is still shocked. Did Luo Binghe really slaughter all the disciples guarding the prison, including Gong Yishao? And the loss of all those hundreds of lives is being blamed on him?
The Qingjing Peak disciples move in to fight back, but Shen Qingqiu thinks that things will get too ugly if they stay in the tavern, so he jumps out to get everyone to follow after him. But as soon as he goes outside, he's dumbfounded. There's a huge group of cultivators from various sects, all ready for battle. Shen Qingqiu jumps to the roof and shouts from the pit of his stomach, Liu Qingge! In a flash, Liu Qingge appears like lightning on his sword. Oh my god! I love that!
He comes when he's called. He just appeared. Oh.
Can you imagine? Okay, I just want you guys to think about this scene for a second. Let's just zoom out.
Soak it in.
All of these people are chasing Shen Qingqiu, and the camera is like, you know, drone level. It's just like you see all these people, and so he jumps onto a roof, and it's like a tall ass roof, and he like the wind is whipping, the drone is like flying around him in a circle, and he's like, Liu Qingge! And then slow motion, this guy descends down with beautiful robes and a sword, and it's like the
his
sun
hair
is
just whipping in the wind,
just glowing around
majestic.
him. I wanted them to be together.
He's like a hero.
Yes.
Luchik is so cool. I love him so much.
I love him.
Too bad he's a side character, but he's so great.
I love stoic characters. I love like angy boys.
He's so angy. He doesn't know how to be not angy.
The speed of his descent pushes back the crowd of cultivators. Shen Qingqiu cheers mentally. Great Master Liu is so reliable. Out loud, he says, Get me out of here. My poison flared up again, and I can't summon Qi to fly my sword. If you don't take me, I'll just plummet from the skies. Liu Qingge stares at him and sighs. Get on.
He's just like a knight in shining armor. Just comes down and picks him up and leaves.
Yes.
I love him. I love him so much.
I want them to be together so badly.
No, they're not. They're not the final couple. They're not the final couple. They're not the end game.
They deserve each other. They actually like each other. They like each other so much.
But Shen Qingqiu is stupid, and he treats him like just like a younger brother, like just a reliable brother. Like he just doesn't love him that way.
But he so teases him all the time. He pokes his mole. It's the cutest
and he always leaves his fans at his house, and it's like, so stupid.
So stupid.
The crowd is furious as they attempt to chase after them, shouting out that is it Sangchong Mountain sect.
So I looked up the pronunciation again. It's like Tongchong Mountain. It's like TS sound.
Tongchong Mountain.
Yeah.
Okay. Shouting out that Tongchong Mountain sect helps and shields evildoers, that Baijian Peak and Qingjing Peak wallow in filth. Liu Qingge and Shen Qingqiu ignore them as they soar into the sky, leaving everyone else far behind. Liu Qingge asks, "Where to?" And Shen Qingqiu says that he needs to go to the roof of the tallest building. Suddenly, Liu Qingge senses that something is coming and orders Shen Qingqiu to jump off the sword. Shen Qingqiu leaps and lands onto the roof of a nearby building. They both look to the distance to brace themselves, but suddenly, behind Shen Qingqiu comes a voice. Where are you looking? He is startled. Luo Binghe is actually here? Wasn't he meditating to control Shin Mo?
Luo Binghe glares at a dark... Luo Binghe glares with a dark expression. Not espresso, expression. Luo Binghe glares with a dark expression and extends his hand. Come with me. Shen Qingqiu says, Gong Yishao is dead. Luo Binghe goes stiff. Shen Qingqiu says, the disciples guarding the water prison are also dead. Luo Binghe, over 100 Huanghua palace lives. Also, I'd be hated and persecuted. Was it really worth it? Luo Binghe's eyes flash red. Whatever, you won't believe me regardless of what I say. Then there's no need for more pointless chatter. I'll ask you again, will you come or not? Suddenly, a group of cultivators appear, riding on their swords. The leader, a man from the Bachi, or something. I'm just gonna make up pronunciations because
Make it up. It's okay. This guy only appears one time in the entire novel. He'll never be heard from again.
The leader, a man from the Bachi sect, shouts out, Senjin Cho is ours. No one should even think of... But Lo Binghe sends out a burst of energy from his body and shouts, beat it.
This is so fucked up, but Shen Qingqiu thinks that Lo Binghe killed hundreds of people and purposely blamed it on Shen Qingqiu just so that his reputation would be more fucked up. And Lo Binghe, there's no proof that Lo Binghe did it. Shen Qingqiu is just assuming that he's the one responsible because he thinks he has it out for him. And Lo Binghe is like, yeah, just blame it on me too. Whatever, fucking whatever. He's so like upset by it, but he just like doesn't have any way to like defend himself because like nothing he says will make Shen Qingqiu believe him. And also, Lo Binghe is not even supposed to be here right now. He is on the cusp of like
a huge chi deviation.
Yeah, because his blade, Shinmo, remember, like, it's very, very powerful, but it's also very manipulative. And if you're not strong enough to control the blade will, like, cause you to, like, explode. It causes you to become really rage. It's like it causes you to be really angry and unstable.
Completely.
So he's supposed to be meditating.
Yeah.
Yeah. The entire group of cultivators are shoved off their swords, crashing into walls and coughing up blood. The other cultivators who are watching from further away are terrified. Who is that powerful black-clothed man? Lu Qingge pushes Shen Qingqiu, telling him to go ahead, and he'll hold Lo Binghe off. Shen Qingqiu is worried. Can you handle this by yourself? He doesn't want Lu Qingge to die, but Lu Qingge ignores him and charges at Lo Binghe. Even though they fight viciously, Lo Binghe doesn't draw his sword, instead using his chi and fists. Shen Qingqiu knows that Shinmo is too volatile right now, and Lo Binghe is using all his concentration to fight against the master like Lu Qingge. If he drew Shinmo, it would invade his mind and release demonic chi, giving him homicidal rage and revealing his demonic cultivation in front of everyone. Oh yeah, at this point he's still pretending to be human.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Since Lo Binghe can't use his demonic chi, only his regular cultivation chi, he and Lu Qingge are evenly matched. The duel is so fierce that the bystanders can only watch, not daring to interrupt. Meanwhile, Shen Qingqiu jumps up to the highest level of the building. Lo Binghe sees him run away and impatiently reaches for his sword. Is he really going to draw it here? Shen Qingqiu shouts, Lo Binghe, don't be rash. Lo Binghe replies harshly, too late. And then he draws Xingmo. Engulfing him in a dark demonic chi. He waves the blade at Lu Qingge's sword, and the waves of chi causes it to freeze in midair. Lu Qingge is shocked. Never once has his blade ever disobeyed his orders.
Don't forget that these swords they kind of have a personality and a mind of their own, and they're also able to fly on their own without like being held. Like there's like floating swords that go like ching ching ching.
Yep.
So
ching, ching, ching.
Yeah, so this sword, when the sword felt the demonic presence of Lo Binghe's blade, it got scared and stopped moving mid-attack, which that has never happened before. So like this, and it's the blade of a master swordsman who's like, you know, like he's always won countless battles. He's never known defeat. So for this blade to stop moving all of a sudden and feel fear, like that's a pretty big deal. Shen Qingqiu is horrified. If Lo Binghe is hit with Shinmo's recoil, the entire city will be destroyed. As a last resort, he unsheaths his sword and says, "Come here, Lo Binghe. Today, we must come to a resolution." Lo Binghe looks at him darkly and then flashes forward. He creates a barrier that covers the entire roof, isolating them from everyone else. He gives a twisted smile and says, "Resolution? How can this be resolved? Shizen, at this point, do you really think that what's between us can be settled cleanly?" Shen Qingqiu has no intention of actually fighting, and he says, "As things are now, there's nothing I can say. Sure enough, even if we scheme until we're exhausted, we can't outwit fate."
Oh, I feel so bad for both of them. The misunderstandings.
They're so stupid.
Lo Binghe chuckles. Fate? What is fate? That which let a 4-year-old child be humiliated while no one lent a hand to help? That which let an innocent old woman die of heartbreak and starvation, or that which led me to fight with dogs for scraps, or let the person I wholeheartedly adore lie to me, abandon me, betray me, and shove me down into a place worse than purgatory with his own two hands? Zen, look at what I've become. Am I strong enough? Lobingha says that for 3 years while he was in the endless abyss, he only thought of Senjin Cho. He wondered why Senjin Cho did this to him. And then Lobingha smiles coldly. None of that is important. It's enough just to do what I want. Fate either never existed at all, or it's something I should trample beneath my feet.
Oh my god. This speech is so sad, dude. I had the feels when I read this for the first time, because like, just imagine, like, literally he lived such a shitty life, and the first person to ever give him hope and give him like meaning is the one person that betrayed him and threw him into 3 years of hell.
Yeah, like worse than anyone's ever done to him.
Yeah.
Forget about being bullied and beat up. Him ending up in hell where there was no water, everything just like tastes like burning ash.
Yeah,
and
he's literally a child.
Yeah,
he's a teenager.
Imagine getting shoved into hell when you're 17.
Yeah.
Everything is just like, you can never wash yourself. Everything you eat is like disgusting and poisonous.
Raw. No, it's just raw.
Just
meat,
yeah.
Demon
and
meat.
Probably and also probably poisonous too, but you can like survive it because you're immune, but like it doesn't make it taste palatable. It probably tastes like acid.
Feel pain.
Yeah, and he probably never got like a good night's sleep. Ugh. Just trauma the whole time.
So sad. Yeah. The clouds have dispersed in the sky, allowing the scorching sun to flood the entire city in sunlight. Shenxing Cho's eyes are teary, but it's likely that he's just been staring at the sun. He's in denial. He's obviously feeling emotional from what everything Lobingha says, and he feels guilty, but he's just like, no, it's from the sun, I swear. Lobingha's darkening is his fault. Everything he's done until now has only made Lobingha's hatred and resentment deeper. Lobingha sees Shenxing Cho's sudden soft expression and he startles. But just then, Shinmo assaults his mind and he clenches his teeth and head in pain. Shenxing Cho says gently, "Don't let it overpower your mind." Lobingha is shocked at hearing his voice, but Shinmo is like a sharp knife cutting into his brain. Lobingha is about to succumb to the attack, but then Shenxing Cho tenderly embraces his shoulders.
Senjin Cho pours in a huge wave of spiritual energy into Lobingha. It feels like a rainstorm after a long drought. Lobingha's breathing returns to normal, but his heart goes cold. Senjin Cho has self-detonated. He lets go of Lobingha and staggers back, dropping his sword. Since his spiritual energy is completely depleted, the sword has no master, and it shatters into pieces. With no spiritual energy, he's less than a common person, just a ruined shell. He says in a quiet voice, "For all that has passed, I repay you today." And then he topples backwards off the building. At first, Lobingha watches blankly, too stunned to react. But as Senjin Cho falls, he regains his clarity. Fuck!
Bro, it's the scene! It's the scene! No, you fucking... Why?
It happened so fast. You guys, but Senjin Cho...
It was literally between one sentence and another.
Yeah.
They don't linger.
You have to catch it. Senjin Cho decides to detonate his golden core, which is the source of all of his spiritual power and also his, like, life, right? So he is self-destructs.
Sends it all to Lobingha. He gave him all his chi, every last drop.
To help him, like, balance out his, like, chi deviation that's happening.
Because you can't have too much demonic energy over spiritual energy. Like, the human and demon have to be 50-50, always in balance. And the Shinmo being drawn made him go over 50%. So he shoved him with the human energy to, like, balance it all out back to 50-50.
Yep. And Senjin Cho, that was, like, the only way he could think to, like, help Lobingha. Yeah. Like, he knew that nothing he could say would help. And... he wanted
he's dead.
Yeah, and he wanted to, like, make sure to protect him. And this is the only thing he could do. And his last words, holy shit, he's like, it's like, for everything I've ever done, I'm just going to repay you right now. Yeah. And this is my penance.
The fucking saddest thing is, like, his thought process also. Like, it was like he was like, damn it, he was too kind. He his kindness towards Lobingha made his betrayal worse. And so he's like, I fucked up. Like, I did this to him. I made it worse. Like, I made it so much worse than it should have been. This is all my fault. Like, and it's so sad because at the last minute he wants to like tell him, like, he wants to apologize. He wants to like, you know, make it better, and then Lobingha is about to like believe him, but then this happens, and it's like they can't talk about it anymore. It's too late to communicate anything.
It's too late. It's all too late.
Anyways, our main character is dead. So,
yeah. The end.
The end. This is the end. Actually, no, just kidding. Yeah, our main character literally just self-destructed. So
sacrificed himself, and now he's falling off of the back of the building, but he's dead. Yes. Like
he's dead. He's like super dead.
Or his body's just falling because he's just dead.
He fell off a roof. He's just dead. Lobingha scrambles to catch Shen Qingqiu before he hits the ground, but the body feels too light, like it's empty. Lobingha is in disbelief. Didn't Shizhen hate him? So why did he help save him? Why did he suppress Shinmo by destroying his own spiritual energy? Lobingha's mind is muddled, and he can only hold Shen Qingqiu and mutter, Shizhen? At that moment, the Qingjing Peak disciples arrive, and Ning Yingying is surprised and happy to see Lobingha. But then she sees Shen Qingqiu's unmoving body in his arms and says in a trembling voice, Alua, Shizhen, what happened to him? Lu Qingge appears with a heavy expression, wiping the blood on his lips. He's dead. Mingfan shouts in shock, Who killed him? Everyone's eyes turn to Lobingha.
The disciples draw their swords to attack, but Liu Qingge says, You can't defeat him. Mingfan shouts with red eyes, Liu Sisu! Then surely Liu Sisu can kill to avenge Shizhen, right? Liu Qingge replies, I can't defeat him either. Mingfan chokes. Liu Qingge says that though Lobingha didn't kill Shen Qingqiu did die because of him. So Tongchang Mountain must avenge this. So Tongchang Mountain must avenge this grudge. Lobingha ignores them all. His mind is a complete mess. He holds Shen Qingqiu's cold body, wanting to shake him awake, but also not daring to. He murmurs, Shizhen. Mingfan snaps, Stop calling him Shizhen. Mingfan wants to fight Lobingha and doesn't care if he dies trying, but Ning Ying holds him back and says that Shen Qingqiu wouldn't want him to throw away his life so recklessly.
This is so fucked up. Lobingha is in so much shock that he can only say the same word over and over again. He's just calling out for his Shizhen, and he's just motionless.
I know, it's so sad, you guys. Like, my heart broke because the fact that he just sacrifices himself. Like, this is what I love so much about Xiangsha and Wuxia like stories is that somebody will die. There's
always death.
Yep.
It's not a danmei if there's no death.
Yeah. They die at least once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
Sometimes 9.
Some people die like 100 times, thousands of times.
There's multiple
reincarnation cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's so tragic. It's so tragic.
It's the death that makes it the best, to be honest with you. I love it. I love that they die. It hurts so good.
It's so fucked up to say. Mingfan sobs and says that Shen Qingqiu was heartbroken for so long, mourning Lobingha with a sword mound after the Immortal Alliance conference. But in the end, this is what he got? Lobingha is shaken when he hears this. Is it true that Shizhen was heartbroken over him? Ning Yingying moves closer and says that Lobingha should have returned to Sangchong Mountain. Shen Qingqiu's kindness and feelings towards Lobingha wasn't fake. Everyone in the peak knows this. Lobingha clutches at Shen Qingqiu tighter and whispers, I was wrong. Shizhen, I know I was wrong. I never wanted to kill you. Ning Yingying adds that if Shizhen really did wrong him, then at least he repaid it with his sacrifice. So from now on, Lobingha shouldn't call him Shizhen anymore.
Lobingha doesn't understand. Did Shen Qingqiu repay his pushing Lobingha into the endless abyss by exchanging his life? He panics. I don't want you to repay me. I just couldn't get over my anger. I couldn't get over it. Whenever you saw me, you acted like you seen a ghost. Then you would smile happily and laugh with others, when in the past you only did that with me. And to me, you would say only the bare minimum. You would keep suspecting me of everything, but I was wrong. He gently wipes the blood from Senjin Cho's face. He continues, I was afraid that if I returned directly to Songchong Mountain, you'd throw me out. I thought if I took over Huanghua Palace and became like you, a leader of righteous cultivators, I could maybe make you happy. Lobingha's voice trembles. Zen, I really...
I hate it. I hate it here. I hate it here. No! Why are you giving me these feels? Fucking stop.
I love this. It hurts so good. This is my favorite part of shit like this. When the antagonist
regrets.
Yep. They realize they were wrong. Everyone tells them exactly what was the truth. But it's too late. It's too late to be forgiven because everything has already happened. I fucking love that shit so much.
So fucked.
When Lobingha just realizes,
like literally for the first time realizes that, oh my god, Senjin Cho did like me. He cared about me. He mourned me. I didn't know any of that. Oh, so stupid.
He didn't know. He's so dumb. He was so blinded.
He's blinded by his anger. It's all Shinmo's fault. It's all his Blade's fault.
Yes. But also himself. He's a dumb idiot.
He's also dumb.
He
could have just been like, you could have just come to him first and been like, hey, is it okay if I return? Instead of like never returning and trying to take over another cultivation sect to be on equal ground. Like, you could have just asked first. Like, you could have just asked. The worst he could have said was no, okay?
Yeah, he could have gone back and been like, I'm so sorry, I'm a demon. Please accept me. I'll hide my demon part. I'll
be good.
Be good. I'll never be a demon. I'll be disgusting. Just don't throw me away.
That's even a sadder fic, dude. Yes. I can't even. If I read that, that'd be so much more like, please, I beg you, please take me back. I know I'm a demon, but I'll try to be good. I promise. I swear I'll be good.
That's White Lotus. Lobingha is always begging and pleading.
Yeah.
Love it.
No, he's
sad.
blackened. Yeah. Okay. Chapter 9. This is so sad. Chapter 9, Borderlands, and this is part 1. There is a borderlands between the human and demon realm where the boundary between the two realms is weak. Not many people live in such a place because demons can sometimes accidentally slip through and cause havoc. There is a group of cultivators gathered who have been sent to the borders to protect it from demons. They sit around drinking hot wine and gossiping about the situation in the south. Songchong Mountain and Huanhua Palace disciples have been fighting each other non-stop after Lobingha became the head of Huanhua Palace. According to rumors, he forced Senjin Cho to self-detonate at Huaya City. No one knows for sure if Senjin Cho deserved it or if he was wrongfully accused.
Songchong Mountain disciples fight anyone who speaks badly of their members. They even defend Sanqing Hua even though he's run away to the demon realm. Meanwhile, the old palace master of Huanghua Palace has gone into seclusion and disappeared. So Lobingha has taken over and will kill anyone who speaks against him. Senjin Cho's corpse should have gone back to Qingjing Peak, but Lobingha refuses to return the body. Perhaps he's torturing the body even after death. How horrifying. Liu Qingge of Baijiang Peak fights Lobingha countless times to take the body back, but no one can defeat Lobingha. And on top of holding Senjin Cho's body hostage, Lobingha has also kidnapped the Peak Lord Wu Qingfan to revive Senjin Cho's body. But it is just a corpse now, so what is there to heal?
Big lore dump right at the beginning of this chapter. So there's been a time skip. And these group of cultivators are just like sitting around and gossiping. And through their gossip, you find out that Lobingha has become the leader of Huanhua Palace because the old palace master, who was the previous leader, has somehow just disappeared. They've gone to seclusion. And no one knows where he is. Disappeared.
You guys remember that the last few times you've met him, the first time you met him, he creepily says, "Oh, looks so familiar," when he was looking at Lobingha. So that's kind of sussy, kind of creepy. Yeah. And then the second time you meet him, he was just accusing Senjin Cho constantly of all these things for no reason. And it's like, what the fuck do you have against Senjin Cho, right?
Yeah. He was literally responsible for him getting thrown. He was like adamant that he should go to Huanhua Palace prison. Like, he needs to be thrown into jail.
Yeah.
And And on top of that, all the Qingjing Peak disciples, all the Sangchong Peak Mountain disciples are like fighting against the Huanhe Palace disciples for some mysterious reason. And Lu Qingge is trying to fight Luo Binghe because Luo Binghe has taken the body of Shen Qingqiu and is keeping it hostage. The dead corpse, just a dead body, just keeping it hostage and refusing it to return it to the peak that it belongs to.
Woo, what's he doing with that
that dead body? And he also kidnapped Mu Qingfang, who's the leader of the healers. He kidnapped him to like do something to the body, but like it's dead. It's a dead body. Sangchong Mountain disciples also insist that Luo Binghe is from the demon race. But the monks of Zhaohua Monastery have testified that Luo Binghe uses normal spiritual energy. And that's because Luo Binghe is like, no one thought that he's like a half demon who has both human and demon energy. They're just like, oh, he uses human energy. Must be human.
Yeah, what a thought. Maybe they should fucking think about it. Also, the Zhaohua Monastery was there in the past when the certain event happened. We'll explain it later. But yeah, it's just like the fact that they're adamant that he's a normal spiritual person like human is just stupid because like they know more than anyone else.
Still, Sangchong Mountain calls Huanhe Palace disciples the dog of demons, and the grudges back and forth have only grown. Suddenly, the gossiping is interrupted by a knock on the door. Everyone readies their weapon. This area is desolate, and besides the squadron of cultivators sent to oversee it, no one else lives there. The leader, named Lu Liu, calls out, "Who is it?" Suddenly, a gust of wind blows and extinguishes all the lamps and candles, leaving the room pitch black.
A demon enters and the cultivators try to fight back, but it's too dark and they're worried about harming one of their own. Something grabs Lulu by the neck, raising him into the air, when suddenly another person charges in and grips on his neck, and the grip on his neck loosens. The light turns back on, and at the center of the room is a man, covered in dark mud, like he crawled out of a grave. Everyone else but the man and Lulu are unconscious. The man has a thin body, but his face is large and bearded. Wait, his face is large?
Yep.
Okay, weird. The man has a thin body, but his face is large and bearded. Lulu thanks him for saving them from the demon, but then the man slings an arm over his shoulder and asks, "What year is it?"
What year is it? Oh yes, sudden demon attack, and then a random man covered in mud and a beard just suddenly appears. I wonder who this person is.
Who wonder? It's definitely not Robin Williams.
Yeah,
what year is it?
What year is it? But that's the first thing he says. Shen Qingqiu tumbles down a mountain covered in mud and praying that airplanes shooting towards the sky be destroyed 10,000 times. Fuck that guy. His original plan was to fake his death, but that seemed too cliche. So he decided to die for real. That day in Huaye City, he really did self-detonate and absorbed a shit ton of demonic energy from Luo Binghe's body. The sun, moon, dew mushroom is also called the flesh mushroom. Once it matures, you can cultivate it into a living body of flesh. The body has no soul, which is perfect for Shen Qingqiu's plan. At the highest building of Huaye City, Shen Qingqiu set up a transportation array. When the sun was at its highest, Shen Qinghua would trigger a second array on Sangchong Mountain so that when Shen Qingqiu's soul left his body, it would be sent to the body of the dew mushroom.
Dun dun dun! That is the reveal. That's how his worked. Yeah. So he had to go up to the tallest building. That was the only way for it to work. He couldn't just have died in the Huanghua Palace. Like the other option is, like, why didn't he just throw himself into the acid? And the answer is no. He had to draw his own array and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And they also said that because the sundew mushroom, whatever, it is grown by sunlight. That's why he kept waiting for a sunny day. Like the cloudy days weren't gonna work, so that's why he waited the next day for the sun to come out, and like when the sun was at its highest for him to do this transportation array.
However, there was one flaw to this plan, namely airplane shooting towards the sky. Because Shen Qinghua used chemical fertilizers to speed up the mushroom growing process, after Shen Qingqiu got transported to the new body, his whole body was still buried underground and he couldn't move. But on the bright side, he stopped hearing the system's voice. It took an entire day for him to gain control of his muscles. But even after he dug himself out of the dirt, his legs didn't know how to walk and he fell face first into the ground. Senshincho spends another day learning how to walk normally. The new body is based on the appearance of the original Sen Yuan, so it doesn't have Senshincho's normal immortal aura. But it doesn't look bad either.
It's like his old body. Like the one before he
teleported. When he was a NEET.
But when he was a NEET. Shenjing-cho's new body is just kinda listless. The kind of listlessness of a worthless, pretty boy who idled his life away. He also had to use some of his blood to cultivate the mushroom, so the new face looks a small percentage similar to Shenjing-cho's. He adds a beard disguise to hide it, but when he finally makes it to the bottom of the mountain, he's shocked to find out that 5 years have passed. How has he been asleep underground for 5 years? And although the original Shenjing-cho's body had abundant spiritual energy, the new mushroom body is on another level. It's so much more powerful. It could almost be called a spiritual energy generator.
Or in other words, a cauldron.
He is a cauldron.
If you guys know anything about Shangsha cauldrons,
powerful mushrooms.
Yeah. So Shangsha cauldrons are people who have so much spiritual energy that when you fuck them, you will get tons of spiritual energy. Yeah.
Levels you up.
It's a buff. Their bodies are basically buff.
So you have to do a cultivate in order to absorb their buff, and then everyone levels up.
Yeah,
it's a win-win situation.
Or you can eat them. That's also an option.
Oh yeah, that's so fun. You can eat their flesh and absorb their spiritual energy, or you can dual cultivate and absorb their spiritual energy. You know, both are valid ways, but one of them is a little bit less humane.
They're both depending on what book you're reading.
I guess that's true. One they're both kind of inhumane if there's no consent. Yeah. I don't think anyone consents to be eaten, though.
Oh my god. And now he speaks with Liu Liu, who is explaining that demons have invaded more and more frequently in the past 5 years. When Liu Liu asks for Senshincho's name, he almost accidentally recites, haha, this humble one is the untalented Qingjing Peak Lord of Changchang Mountain, the Shuya Sword, Senshincho of the Central Plains. Instead, he mutters the word peerless cucumber. Then he glides away, leaving the other people looking at him in shock. He just said he was peerless. What was it? Peerless chrysanthemum? Oh my god!
Imagine his name is peerless chrysanthemum. That's definitely a fucking joke that the author snuck in.
Because in cucumber is oh fuck, it was just in my brain. Huanggua. Okay, and then chrysanthemum is juhua. So
it's very similar.
It's a little bit similar.
Yeah. But also chrysanthemum means butthole in danmei.
Exactly. So she fucking put that in on purpose.
She totally fucking did.
And then the next guy says, no. It was peerless crazy flower, which I think would be let's see, a bit like hold on, what would crazy be? I wish I was reading this in Chinese.
Yeah. You have the original text.
Sa hua maybe, or what's crazy? Senjing Bing Hua. Well, that's too many words. Yeah, but peerless crazy flower. Senshincho hears all this and trips as he walks away. He's gonna have to come up with a new name.
I can't believe he fucking introduced himself with his online ID.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you? And it's so embarrassing. It's an embarrassing name. Why would you say that?
Imagine you guys just using your online tag to introduce yourself. How fucking lame that would be. How cringy.
Awkward. That's so awkward. Well, the first order of business is to find a new fan. He quote-unquote finds a white one decorated with ink paintings of mountains and rivers. At the same time, he encounters a group of demons and brazenly stands before them, demanding to know why they have invaded the human realm. The demons tremble in fear and said that they came to steal small trinkets to take back to trade. Since the demon realm doesn't use common currency, they barter for goods. But they're also not very skilled craftsmen, so even the simplest human item is valuable art to them. As a result, all sorts of random trinkets are stolen and highly valued in the demon realm.
Senjincho snaps his fan shut and orders the demons to leave. This town is poor and destitute, and the residents have no joy in life, so it's wrong to steal from them.
So fucking fucked up to say that. It's like, these people are poor, they have nothing going for them, leave them alone.
The demons are at a loss. Before Senjincho captured their group, he himself was stealing clothes and a fan from the town. Oh my god.
He's a fucking hypocrite.
This freaking idiot.
Stupid.
But then Senjincho has a thought. If he supplied the demons with a stream of small goods, what if he starts an economy in the demon realm and becomes rich? He asks one of the demons for his name, and the demon replies, 6 balls. Senjincho asks, what does that mean? The demon replies, when I was born, my pa held me and said I had 6... When I was born, my pa held me and said I was as heavy as 6 balls. Senjincho is speechless. What kind of measurement is that? What kind of balls? Shot put balls? Ping pong balls? This kind of name is meaningless.
6 balls.
Yeah, it's a demon
His name is 6 balls.
Normal.
Because you weigh 6 balls, obviously.
If you think about it, most of the demons who are not royalty are named very literal things.
Yeah, there's literally, like, what was it, like one arm?
One arm? Yeah. I think it's just one arm. His name was One Arm.
Yeah, I think it was just one arm. One arm hammer guy or something like that.
Yeah.
One arm hammer master. Yeah.
Oh my
and he
God.
literally had one arm and a hammer. Hence the name One Arm Hammer Master.
Love it. Love it. If you just want to disguise yourself, you just wear someone else's name.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a relief that Lobinghe wasn't found in the demon realm, or else he'd have a stupid name too.
I mean, his name is kind of stupid. His name literally means frozen river.
Yeah, okay. That's a good point. Frozen River. Because he was found also at the Low River, so he's just named after a river.
Yeah, so he's the Law of Cold River, like ice river.
Cold River.
Yeah.
So literal. The most literal name. Oh my god. At least the demons who come from nobility have normal names, such as Mobe Jin or Sha Huali.
But Mobe Jung also isn't a fucking normal name.
Wait, what is Mobe Jin?
Mobe Jung is a title. That's as soon as his dad dies.
Well, he doesn't get Jin until he becomes the Lord.
But his dad is also Mobe.
Yeah, just Mobe, whose son is Mobe.
Yeah.
And whose son is Mobe.
Yeah.
Surely, if he was named in the demon realm, his name would be something like Heavenly Pillar. So many women in his harem, and there's so many women in his harem, and he is as vigorous as ever, never failing to pull the trigger. Shenqingqiu laughs to himself and then slaps himself hard. What is wrong with him? Why is he thinking of dirty jokes at a time like this? Bro, why are you thinking about Lobing as a Heavenly Pillar right now? Like, why? Such a random thought process.
Oh my god.
The demons watch this random cultivator laughing and slapping himself and are even more afraid, not daring to even breathe too loudly. Just then, Shenqingqiu notices a sword tassel on 6 Ball's waist, and he asks where he got it from. He recognizes it as Lu Mingyan's sword tassel. 6 Balls claims that he found it on the road. And remember, Lu Mingyan is the sister of Lu Qingge, and she's also supposed to be the future wife of Lu Binghe.
Some important person from the demon realm has been sending their subordinates to clear the roadside, so he was curious to see what was going on, and happened to find the sword tassel on the ground. Senjincho wonders if that person was Luo Binghe. Who else would be so important in the demon realm and could have possessed Luo Mingyan's Luo Mingyan's. Oh my god, I'm trying to every time I'm switching between Chinese and American pronunciation.
The enunciation, yeah,
it's so weird. Who else could have be so important in the demon realm and could have possessed Lu Mingyan's sword tassel? He asked 6 Balls if the person was extremely handsome, fair-skinned, tall, with a dark smile. 6 Balls blushes and shakes his head. No. Well, perhaps it wasn't Luo Binghe. He has an OP weapon like Shinmo, which can create portals between realms. Why would he order subordinates to clear the road? This is a problem. Who is the demon who had Lu Mingyan's belongings? Was she captured? Feeling worried, Senjincho decides to go and see for himself.
I also love how Senjincho, his way of describing Lo Binghe is, oh yeah, have you seen this like handsome guy who's like really, really tall? He has like a really dark smile. He's really fair skinned. Have you seen anyone like that? Like that's how he describes him.
Like,
to
this guy
people.
is super hot. Have you seen him? He's got like big, huge pecs and muscles and like thunder thighs.
Thinking about his fucking heavenly pillar too. Jesus.
Oh my god.
Shen Qingqiu is hiding in a tree. There's a spatial rift in the forest, and suddenly an 18-year-old boy wearing Baijian peak robes, bound by immortal binding ropes, runs out of it. His face looks somewhat familiar, but Shen Qingqiu doesn't remember him. Xia Hualing is chasing after him and is about to grab him when Shen Qingqiu sends out sharp leaves that slice through her long nails. Look, in Shen Qingqiu's opinion, long nails aren't that great. They can break and they're uncomfortable. Plus, in the original novel, she often used them to scratch Lo Binghe's back into a bloody mess. That's too hardcore and unhealthy. Xia Hualing is furious, and she summons demonic chi to strike the boy. Shen Qingqiu has no choice but to jump down and intercept, using his own chi to fire a blast back at her.
If you think about this without any of his like his logical, reworkings of like what's going on, it's just this twink gay guy literally just like, I hate your manicure. Psst. Like just like fucks it up.
He literally cut her nail. He's like, I don't want you to fuck up Lo Binghe's back like later on. So like, get rid of that. It's disgusting.
Like, ugh, that color doesn't work on you, girl. It's slice. That's how I've been interpreting so many of his things. Like everything he does, I like look at it through the lens of like the most twinkiest mean gay you've ever met. He's such a mean gay. I love him.
And now that he's in his regular body, he doesn't have to put on airs and pretend to be a peak lord. He's like being way more true to his like regular personality and his inner thought process. Like look at him just like slapping himself and laughing hysterically in front of a group of demons. Like if he was in the original Shen Qingqiu's body, he would never do that because he had to pretend to be cool.
Yeah. So stupid.
Now he's just like himself.
But Shen Qingqiu's new body is stronger than he expected, and Xia Hualing is flung back with her clothes torn off. Shen Qingqiu quickly censors it, having trained himself not to look at Lo Binghe's wives when stupid things happen for plot reasons. Realizing that she can't win, Xia Hualing disappears through the rift. Shen Qingqiu uses his fan to slice through the immortal binding cables. The boy bows in thanks and introduces himself as a disciple of Baijian Peak, whose Zen is Lu Qingge. Shen Qingqiu is astonished since Lu Qingge has never accepted any disciples. It turns out the boy's name is Yang Xizhen, the same kid from the plagued city. Back then, Shen Qingqiu had teased Lu Qingge to take him on as a disciple. Who knew that he'd actually do it?
Yang Yishuan, he's back. The little kid is back. He was the son of the weapons shop owner who died when that plague broke out.
Yeah, he was the one with the spear and trying to be like, get out of the city.
Get out of the river. Get out of the sewers. What are you doing? Shen Qingqiu asks how Lu Qingge is doing, and Yang Yishuan says that he's lost every single battle against Lo Binghe, and he refers to Lo Binghe as a little beast. Shen Qingqiu then asks how Yang Yishuan got captured by Xia Hualing. He immediately blushes and says that she was pretending to be a maiden in distress, and when he went to help her, she suddenly took off her clothes and captured him. Shen Qingqiu shakes his head and lectures him. Look at yourself. Are you really a representative of Baijian Peak? Avoiding feminine charms doesn't mean fearing them. So what if she took off her clothes? So what if a maiden strips naked right in front of you? Back when your Shizen went to fight succubi, their entire cave was filled with unclothed bodies. Oh, this is such a good backstory thing.
Shen Qingqiu and Lu Qingge fought a cave of succubi in the past, but Lu Qingge was completely unaffected. He wonders if Lu Qingge is either asexual or impotent, but Yang Yishuan hears this and his face is full of adoration. Wow, an entire cave and he was unaffected? As expected of Zen. Shen Qingqiu wonders if Xia Hualing has already captured if Xia Hualing had already started capturing people for Lo Binghe. Since Lo Binghe has both demonic chi and regular chi, they have to be in balance at all times. But Shinmo throws off this balance by creating more demonic chi. In order to resolve this issue, Lo Binghe finds human vessels when there is a full moon to pass the excessive demonic chi. Xia Xia Hualing captures people for Luo Binghe to use and stores them in cages so that Luo Binghe can teleport in and grab a person as he needs. That's so dark. Ooh.
She's basically just capturing just human experiment people for him to just use up, like drain and then toss away. Just
drain
them dry.
If only it
and then
was
off they go.
Dual cultivation. If only.
Oh, she captured Yang Yishuan, so I don't think that was just she's gonna suck him dry and then move him on. But there are also women in there. That for sure people joined his harem in this way. But poor Xia Haoling is just literally just sent as like a farmer, just like pick up these people and just like capture them for him.
That's hilarious. She is a farmer. You're right.
Yeah, and like Yang Yishuan is like, he's just like really afraid of women. Because he's like literally she just like stripped naked and he got afraid and he got captured. Like even though he's like actually a really strong cultivator, he was just like, oh my god, naked women, and he just froze.
Well, also because his zen is Luchinga, and he is also like, no, women, gross.
No, thank you, get away.
Ew, vagina.
Ew. Yeah, and this story of where they fought a cave of succubi, that's actually, I think it's in the extra chapters later on.
I love it.
You guys will see that later.
I love all the fan fiction that comes from it.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Tragically, there was this one incident in the original novel where Xia Hualing captures 3 beautiful nuns from Tianyi Temple for Luo Binghe to use as vessels. But instead of using them, Luo Binghe took them in as new wives. Xia Hualing went mad with anger. Yang Yishuan says that he was captured and held in Qi Yun Cave in the rift between realms. Shen Qingqiu decides to go there and look in case Lu Mingyan was captured there too. It's not a full moon tonight, so it's unlikely that Luo Binghe will arrive. And Shen Qingqiu literally only knows like, oh yeah, Luo Binghe captures people and eats them on full moons. Like he only knows that information because that it was all in the original novel. So that's what he's basing all this information on. Yang Yishuan offers to go with him since his sword is still locked in the cave and he needs to go and retrieve it. Shen Qingqiu asks, you're not scared she'll take off her clothes again? Yang Yishuan says disdainfully, there's no way I'll be scared. Besides, throughout that entire trip, she took them off dozens of times. There's nothing remarkable about it anymore.
That's because you're unaffected by women.
Yeah. Everyone's gay.
Everyone's gay. Woo! The most rainbow book there is.
Yeah.
Shen Qingqiu is shocked. Xia Hualing gave Yang Yishuan a personal strip show and he's completely unaffected? How worrisome. He's definitely Lu Qingge's disciple. They pass through the rift in the demon's realm. Yang Yishuan leads the way to Qiyang Cave. It looks like a mausoleum, and the entrance sign looks like a tombstone. Demons have the most morbid tastes. They walk through the cave but don't run into any guards until they reach a large hall. The floor of the hall is covered in various furs of strange beasts. Xia Hualing is barefoot and pacing back and forth on a tiger rug. Also in the hall are large cages holding cultivators from various sects. Shen Qingqiu spots Lu Mingyan sitting in one of the cages with a veil covering her face.
Oh yeah, don't forget she also has a veil covering her face because apparently she's so beautiful that she has to keep her face covered. Xia Hualing approaches her and says, that thing on your face, don't you ever take it off? Oh, I see. Could it be that your face is so ugly that you dare not take it off out of shame? But Liu Mingyan ignores her, which pisses her off even more. She opens the cage and drags her out, shouting, kneel! But Liu Mingyan refuses. No matter how much Xia Hualing pushes and shoves at her, she remains upright. Finally, Xia Hualing reaches out and snatches the veil off Lu Mingyan's face. Immediately, Xia Hualing's face grows pale. Shen Qingqiu can't see. He can't see. He can only see the back. What does she look like? Quick, let him see what the most beautiful woman in this book looks like.
He'll never know. Oh man. Yay! End of chapter. Well, this is half of chapter 9. Good stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's only half of chapter 9. The other half will be on next week's episode.
Woo! So much has happened.
He died. He came back.
You guys can see that this is a very fast book. Everything has happened very quickly, but I appreciate it because I don't think anything needed to be elaborated.
There's no filler.
Yeah, there's no filler.
It's just plot. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just keeps going. Yeah, and it's so funny. I love that he's like being himself now. Like he's just being his like snarky, petty, true self, and for the kind of almost for the rest of the series, he doesn't like have to put on airs as much anymore.
Yeah, I want him to be himself.
Mm-hmm.
I like also, as you guys can see, there's like so much opportunity for fan fiction because
I know
a lot of the things that have happened in here can honestly be avoided and rewritten into a different path. So like, let's pretend that he didn't need to go into a different city. Like, what if he just died in the Huanghua Palace dungeon? You know, what if he decided to go and start his own Stardew Valley instead of like going into town and trying to be another cultivator and like save Blooming Yan. Like he could have done so many things. Like he could have really run away if he wanted to.
And the plan with him turning into a mushroom body was so volatile. Like so many things could have gone wrong. Like there's so many things that could have happened there. Yeah, a lot of possibilities.
And it could have taken longer than 5 years. Like, could you imagine? What if it took like 50 years? What if it took 100 years?
With Lovinga just carrying his corpse around for 50 years. That's so sad.
Oh, that'd be so sad.
So sad.
I mean, MXTX, the author, she's in love with making people have heartbreak for a really long time.
I know. She likes making people wait for their loved ones to come back from the fucking dead.
Their love.
Why? Like, it's so unfair.
In Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation,
like 17 years.
He had to wait 17 years. And then in Heaven of Visual Blessing, he had to wait 800 years.
Oh, 800 years, no big deal. It went from 5 to 17 to 800.
Yeah.
Everyone always makes jokes like, I wonder how long the next characters will have to wait in the new novel.
4,000 years.
Thousands of years. Thousands of years. It's just ridiculous.
I wouldn't mind that. I mean, her next book is supposed to be a contemporary, right? Like, it's supposed to be modern.
I kind of feel like it's going to be kind of like time travel-y anyway, so maybe it is 1,000 years of waiting.
I would love that. I would love that so much. That would be great. I love stuff like that where they mix the two worlds together.
Yeah. I've been reading way more modern cultivation fanfics than like, because I don't know, every single time I read like a canon centered fanfic, I'm just like, I want to read something completely different. So I'm always looking for the modern cultivation AUs or modern AUs.
Yeah.
Or like sci-fi AUs, something complete like
sci-fi. I love that.
Sci-fi AUs, so good.
Cool. Let's do our off topics today.
Okay.
So my off topic is also a novel. It's not a fan fiction, and it's called Death Addiction. I found out about this through TikTok. Somebody was talking about it. It is still a raw. There is somebody trying to translate it at the moment. But honestly, because it's a modern contemporary one, the translation from like Google works just fine. Because I read like the first 7 chapters translated, and then I've been reading the next few chapters like just with Google. And there's only like maybe a few phrases that I don't understand, but contextually it like works out just fine. So Death Addiction is a modern world. It's about a boy who becomes obsessed with like dying. So it's kind of a little bit of his kink / hobby. Like he doesn't get off on it, but he just wants to do it all of the time. Like he talks about how other people have hobbies like basketball or like hitting on girls. And he just goes home and tries to like strangle himself. Like he uses like a plastic bag.
So normal.
Or he'll try and choke himself with like a noose on his doorknob. And he's addicted to this. So in China, it's normal for like you to rent out a room in your house. So his parents rent out like the upstairs room to a young guy who is like a businessman or something. He's probably only a few years older than our main character. Our main character's still in school, and he's like talking about how it's like his life is just like studying every day, like going to school. Like his life is predictable, but he gets to do his hobby and stuff. So you find out
of dying.
Yes, his hobby of dying. You find out that the tenant, the older guy, is a serial killer.
Oh.
And so both of them
it's dark.
have it's dark. So both of them end up with this mutual relationship of like secret keeping, because he doesn't get creeped out that this guy is a serial killer, and the serial killer doesn't like report him for trying to kill himself all the time. And it's like,
Okay.
yeah, cool, that's your hobby. And so they all just hang out in his room while he's like choking himself to death, or and
Jesus Christ.
yeah,
The
and he
fuck, man.
yeah, it's like so much romanticizing of like death and stuff.
Yeah,
And you find out that like the serial killer guy only kills people who are bad. So like his
Okay.
first kill that you find out about, he killed these people who had been suspected for murders like 2 years prior, who had been like who like killed their bad people and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then eventually there's a time skip in which the younger guy had like studied abroad in America, came back and became like a salary man, and he still like thinks his life like is so boring because the trajectory of everyone's life in the world is that you go to school, you get a job, you just give your life to your job, and that's it, because like, you know, everyone kind of works like 996 and stuff. So yeah, it's really interesting because it's developing into, also you find out more about the serial killer and that he's not actually a serial killer. There's like more to it than him killing. He doesn't kill randomly. There's like a specific life that he's living, and he's living under a pseudonym. He has more skills than you think, and yeah, their relationship becomes very mutual. I'm only on.
Well, this sounds really twisted.
It's so twisted, but it's actually, even though it's twisted, it's kind of PG-13. The way that they write it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So nothing like too graphically like detailed.
No,
just,
not
like,
at all.
Just the mention of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
It's finished. There's like 26 or 27 chapters, and I'm on chapter 10, so I'm probably gonna finish it like real soon.
Oh, that's so fast. Yeah, it's so short. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Good rec. My fanfic that I want to talk about is called For the Time Being by Hu Yi. And this is the author that I mentioned earlier on. It's like they are Chinese people. They're a Chinese person. So a lot of their fanfics that I've read so far are like really just filled with like Chinese like settings. Like it's like a lot of modern AU, but like in the past there's a lot of like historical stuff mixed with like random inserts of like Chinese poetry and like just like I don't know, these personalities feel really true, like based on personal experience from like the author's point of view. But this fanfic that I'm reading, it's Morazushi, it's modern AU, and it's Lanjan and Wei Ying, but they meet on a train that's like a 60-hour train ride. It's like on Lunar New Year, so it's like really really packed. Everyone's going from the city back to like the countryside to visit home for the holidays. But Lanjan is on this train because his brother asked him to bring their father's ashes, which are in an urn, to Canada, where like his brother is going to school because he wanted to take care of the father, because Lanjan doesn't really care. He has kind of like mixed emotions about his father, who was like really not present in his life and then like died before he really got to know them. So there's also that flavoring the fanfic. And Wei Ying is visiting Wen Ning, who's going to school in another city, and he's bringing him all these like food and goodies and like presents from his family because he's like studying all by himself and he doesn't want him to be lonely for Lunar New Year. But this is like a really packed fire hazard level train. Like there's luggage everywhere, there's people everywhere. There's like 3 people on one chair, you know, like everyone is standing, everyone's uncomfortable. It's a mess, and there's like people just eating just in the hallways. It's crazy. And Lanjan bought a ticket, but Wei Ying bought a legitimate seat ticket, and Lanjan thought he bought a legitimate seat ticket, but it turned out to be a fake. So when he goes to the seat, they're both like assigned to the same seat, and then they're like, what the fuck? And it turns out that Wei Ying's seat was real. So Lanjan's like, oh, that's embarrassing, I'm so sorry. So he's like just standing there, but Wei Ying kind of likes him. He kind of thinks he's interesting. So they end up like talking and hanging out. But like when they leave to go get food and come back, some random teenager has stolen the chair, and she's like, if you kick me out, I'm gonna post your photo on Weibo and say you harassed me. And so they're like, oh, let's not deal with that. So they end up just like sitting on the floor together. And this is a 60-hour train ride, so it's like spanning multiple days. So they end up like having to sleep on the train. It's very uncomfortable and it's very crowded. But it's like this is like the strangest and cutest meet cute, because it's just Wei Ying being Wei Ying. He's just like really friendly and talkative, and he just like he's like messing with Wanjan, messing with his phone, like taking selfies on it, just like being himself like being all cute, and Lanjan just like, oh man, this I kind of like this guy, like, but he's also sad. He's also like, he doesn't want to get too invested. He's like, oh, we're just like meeting on a train. Like, what if we like never see each other ever again? I would be so devastated. I can never let this guy know how I feel or think that I'm interested in him in any way possible. I must be stoic and just suppress all my feelings. Except eventually, Lanjan finds a seat for them at a table, but there's only one seat available. So he's like, oh, Wang is like, haha, I'll just sit on your lap, like as a joke. And he sits on his lap thinking that Lanjan is gonna push him off, but Lanjan doesn't. He just like hugs his arm around his waist and holds him down. And there's this quote I thought was so funny. It's so stupid, but Lan Wangji's grip on Wang gets even tighter, which is maybe a bit weird. It kind of hurts. It's definitely going to leave prints. Bruises maybe. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Like, his thought process is just like, this is really strange, but I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah.
I'm not too mad about it. It's fine. This is fine.
This motherfucker, oh my god, that's so good.
Anyways, it's really, really cute. It's just literally the chaos of like babies crying, food everywhere, people coughing, people listening to TikToks really loudly in a crowded train, trying to sleep on the floor, everyone's uncomfortable, and they're just like flirting really obnoxiously in the middle of this crowded train, and everyone around them is like avoiding eye contact and feeling really uncomfortable just being near them. But they're not even like flirting on purpose. That's just like how they are. That's just how they are. That's just how they interact. So yeah, that's the fic.
Beautiful. I love it. Dude, I've been on one of those trains in 8 hours, and yeah, there legit are people who are loud and will play things on full volume. It's so disrespectful because I would ride a train in Japan and everyone is like super quiet and super nice and like just everyone like, follows the rules.
If you don't have your headphones on, they will glare at you. They will give you so much, like...
They'll tell you, right?
Stink eye.
So, on the Chinese train, people were fucking loud, and I got mad, and I looked at this guy, and I'm like, you need to shut off your phone. It's too loud.
Okay.
I was like, manifest my destiny. Yo, I am that person. Like, instead of letting things slide and be quietly complaining, I legit look people in the face, and I'm like, hey, that's too loud. Turn it down.
Shut that shit down. None of that.
Yeah. Manifest my own reality. I do not wait for others. Love it.
And this is a meet cute, but there's also like sadness because like eventually Lanjan tells Wang like, oh, I'm actually here to like pick up my father's ashes, and it's like, it's like that's sad. And then there's like a lot of like deconstruction of his like he had all these like repressed feelings about it, and Wang finally like helps him express himself and like get all those negative energy out. So like it's really good. It's really cute. I love it.
Aww.
10/10.
Okay, so let's see. I'm looking at Patreon. We don't have any new comments this time, so let's go over and thank our student here. Let me take a look at the list. Okay. Ooh. Hold on, I'm gonna fix something.
Oh, okay.
Somebody's payment got declined.
Oh no!
Awkward.
Okay, that's
cool.
awkward. That's fine.
Awkward.
That's fine. We gotta update our list.
All right, so every podcast episode, we like to thank our student tier for supporting us because they're our top tier, and you guys get some cool stuff. Usually, I mean, you and the other tier, but mostly you get this shout out, which is nice. Outs. Yeah. So thank you so much to Owl.
Thank you, FazeBoy23.
Thank you, Kita.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you, George.
And thank you, Rob. Thank you so much for being our top tier patrons. This show couldn't happen without you guys. We really appreciate your support.
Yeah, and if you guys don't support us on Patreon, please do, because that helps pay our bills and our addiction to BL and
it keeps us going.
We can buy.
This is like the dumbest. This is the most expensive hobby. I don't understand why this hobby is so expensive.
So expensive. Dude, the books, the acrylics.
The merchandise.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Cool. Love it. So do we have a quote for today?
Yeah, I think I underlined something earlier. It's so rare that I underline anything in this novel because things happen so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but literally all of everything Lobing has said before Shenjingqiu detonated was so fucked up.
I know, it's so sad.
Okay. As Lobing has said, fate either never existed at all or it's something I should trample beneath my feet.
Thanks for listening, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye. and finished recording.
Patreon.
Cool. All right. And now Jenny and I are going to go and record our bottom show. Yes.
Join us on Patreon for that stuff.
It's spicy. I'm going to talk about
we're talking about the 18 plus stuff now. Time for the mature rated ones.
Yeah. All right. Bye, YouTube. See you guys later.